Start recording, Sky?
Recording is on.
Hello and welcome to the DXDAO BizDev call for Monday, January 31st, 2022. On the agenda today, we have the guys from Metaphora. I think they're here in the chat, which is something that we will be exploring. We'll have DXbiz discussion about the Codeless Conduct Hackathon that was posted by Christopher from WebKX, which has interesting opportunity to sponsor and participate. We'll talk about under DX events. We have the DXDAO coming to Denver, and we posted. I think the article was posted, right? And we have an invite going. So reach out to your contacts and invite them. A brief talk about the DXDAO merge for East Denver, updates for DX Ventures, and yeah, I think that's it. And Metaphora, do we have people here?
No, there's not someone here from Metaphora. It was shared. Like there's a couple DAOs. I think the DAOist is using it. So what we're seeing more and more. So I just put on so we can talk about this topic in general. It seems like more and more these things that we've talked about that like DAOs need, right? So we like, all right, D-Work is working on like this decentralized Trello. This Metaphora, if you look at the website, there's, and you kind of dive into it, it's really like forum for Web3, and it's like it's pretty nicely done. Now I think a lot of these things are going to be missing, like the actual what true DAOs need, like DXDAO, where we want the DAO to own the platform, and then all of the other things kind of can feed down from that. And so D-Work, we've communicated that with them and they're aware of that. That's like a big jump for a lot of projects. But if this is like a Web3 forum, it has a lot of the features that Web3 forums would need. It probably doesn't have where like the forum's actually owned by DXDAO and then the permissions are granted from there. But more and more of these things are popping up like every week, it seems. These are all potentially good opportunities for DX Ventures. They all probably need the feedback from someone like DXDAO to try the products and then like push them over the line of what actual DAOs need. And I think the big thing is like, can the DAO actually own the overall permissions of whatever product it is that you're using? So I think in general, like, this Metaphora, people should check it out and look at it. I know Elon did, but we should keep an eye out for more of these. Like, little teams of people are starting these up every week. There's lots of them. You got to filter through probably the noise, which ones like actually, have a good team behind it. The D-Works one is really interesting because like they're actually using the platform to build D-Work, which is like a provable sign in my mind. And then if we converse with their teams, it takes some outreach and stuff, but and we can just have calls with them. We can push them in the direction of what DXDAO would actually want. Then it becomes a good opportunity for potentially doing like a DX Ventures investment, because some of these teams are bootstrapping it. A lot of them are bootstrapping it. Some have their own funding, but ideally, they don't just all get funded by VCs and things because they're building DAO tools. It would be great if they took funding from the projects and communities and DAOs that are actually want to use their tools and actually help them build those tools. I don't know. There's a lot going in the chat. I'm not reading it, but if there's any questions, so it's just kind of an example. We will try to reach out to the Metaphora team and learn more about them, and then at some point potentially they could come and present to DXDAO. But if you see,
did you open a space in there?
No, I haven't created anything yet. Just discovered it and shared it just in our little squad. But we should probably do that the same way you kind of did it with D-Work right away. But reaching out to the team also, we'll do that. And then once we learn like what's behind it, then if it makes sense, we could have them come present, but really, yeah, we probably do use it and research it a little more in detail before we would have them just come present.
I mean, it's pretty cool. It looks more like Reddit or sort of like it's sort of feedy type thing. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, we had a lengthy conversation about on this topic like some month or two ago, and it boils down to, if we are going to support a platform like this and create a new channel where our community could gather, then the question is, would that be a good user experience for them? On one hand, that shouldn't matter. If we are trying to support decentralized infrastructure, we have to push for it. And even if there isn't a big turnout in the beginning, we have to support a channel like that, and people would shift over from time to time. Meanwhile, we wouldn't be able to abandon our current channels because that's where almost everyone is. And if we shut down one of our current social media communities, for example, Discord, we're turning our back on like 90% of our community because that's where they gather mostly. So we have to pretty much, moving forward, be thinking of a strategy where we increase our bandwidth in kind of community support for different platforms in order to push an agenda where we will be branching out to growing a community in a decentralized platform. And that was mostly a conversation around Element and Matrix. Now with Metaphoro, it's interesting what they're building. They are saying it's joined for free, but mentioning that, it kind of implies as if at some point it may not be free, and you have this front end which is centralized, and it's kind of different than what Element and Matrix are doing, where you pretty much, it's an open source platform. You could spin up a channel and you could host it on your own front end, like you could have your own domain. So we have to be careful if we are going to allocate human resource to start building a community in one of those decentralized platforms, to pick the right one and not waste any resource on just venturing onto yet another half decentralized, half centralized one. It cannot be a trade-off where we're moving from one thing to pretty much the same thing, but with a slightly different spin. It has to be something that is a true game changer.
That's a good point, Nathan. So should DXDAO community wait until really like there's a platform that ticks all those boxes, versus like Discord's has not announced anything to like become a decentralized platform, right? There's other ones that are like, they want to move in the direction like progressive decentralization. And yes, there are some centralized elements, like even DWork is like, yeah, the website is centralized. I mean, that's going to be for almost all cases initially. Do we like make that leap sooner than later, or do we use in parallel, or do we actually like take a stand and pick one that we really think could be the one? And even though it's like worse for a community, it's like leading with your voice. Like, should we stop using Google Gmail to like make a stand, basically? So status, like, and this is, yeah, we've talked about status for a really long time, like first partnership ever. What they're doing is really hard, which is why I think it takes a very, very long time. But like the status app, wallet, chat, like accomplishes a lot of things. It's not a great user experience. It's getting better, but there's now like talk that it's gonna kind of try to replace like a Discord, or more like expand into that. And they've been working on those things, and their core principles are definitely probably the most in line with DXDAOs, which is why we kind of tried to align with them in the beginning. I don't think that product is ready just yet, but maybe when it is, that could be something we could try to move towards. But I agree that there's no there's nothing that exists that like really lets us do it the way we would want to do it and have a good user experience, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I think the perspective we need to have here is one of, we know more than the people building the products what the product should be. Because like there's all these people that are like getting into the space, like, oh, DAOs are cool, like I'm going to build tooling for it in some way. Communities are really cool. Maybe they've like been into a couple of them, but no one has been at like the level of, I guess down the rabbit hole, like kind of integration fully DAO that we are. So we are, I think, when we're talking to these groups, we should be much more like they should be building products that fit our needs, and we should be trying to get much more like customizable solutions. And that's not something that they're going to be able to do next week or like have a product there. But like I think we should be looking more for partners to build like real solutions with, and we could, possibly fund them. I think a similar thing when we think about treasury management is like, I think we should be thinking of people to partner with that like have ways of building customizable tools that won't happen immediately. Because I think we have a very good idea of what needs to be built. And like, I think that's a very unique position to be in. So I don't think we should be like meeting and kind of using other people's products, but it's like, how can like DXDAO pioneer it itself? But that it takes time and commitment.
Yeah, and I think what we're doing with DWork, and I don't know about these guys, but we met the guys. We see that their sort of values are aligned with what we want to do and what we think is right for the ecosystem. And I want to support these type of people, and if it means taking a gamble, I think that we should do it. I think this is the great thing about DXDAO, and we should be forward looking. We should think of these things. Yeah, basically that's I guess the point.
Yeah, it's good to have Augusto and Ross on board with the idea that we are having this at one point in the future inside DXVote. So it would be good to maybe have a conversation sometimes on a Friday weekly strategy call to devote a few minutes and think more about how to seed that effort do the inception, and even if we don't start working on it from the get-go, we should at least have a clear plan how to grow this. And then, as Chris says, we could somehow work with it instead of adopting someone else's product and adjusting ourselves to it. We should have this clear idea of what we want to have, and then maybe either attract devs from the community to build it with us inside DXVote, or even talk to those businesses that are building those products if they wish to do something for us.
Keenan, the link you sent with like some type of Web3 login on Discord, isn't that didn't that get like shot down by the community and now they're not doing it?
Yeah.
That's what that is. You can see his reply kind of backpedaling right away.
What a loser.
I love loser as an insult. Let's bring it back, man. The 90s.
It was, Elon is right. I mean, you have like 99% of crypto communities on Discord, and Discord is full of scammers DMing you all day, every day with scams. Then how does allowing legit people to log in with their Ethereum addresses making this any worse? It's actually improving this.
Nathan, I don't think we're going to get into the psyche of Discord or Web2 companies on how they're not going to do it. It's hard to get people to do things. It's hard to have like a perfect solution. I think we want to be moving towards this direction and supporting it. with our financial resources, the things we're using, and even I think as Guy said, like sometimes taking a stand. But this isn't like a battle that's just going to be solved here.
Yeah, and overall, putting the pieces of the puzzle together, envisioning this operating system where we have our dApps plugged into it with APIs and leveraging everything we've built so far to allow communities from whichever vertical, not even just esports, to gather, launch a token, form a DAO, have governance, bootstrap a liquidity pool, do incentives, and all that kind of stuff. The missing piece is pretty much the community management platform with something like a decentralized discourse. So it's definitely something we should be looking into if we are going forward with our plan to create something like this.
Cool. Yeah, just everyone being aware of this topic is good to talk about once in a while. But we can probably move to the next exciting topic, I think.
Next exciting topic. I mean, maybe just to conclude this, I think, I hope I'm not just speaking for myself, but we want to be a part of like these new initiatives and new products being built, and we want to work with them on building these things. So DXDAO wants to be active. So if you keep an eye out for like these interesting projects, bring them in. So yeah, the next topic is the Codeless Conduct Hackathon, and I think we have. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we have a couple of offers. I don't know, Nathan, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I think.
Go on, Chris.
Well, I wasn't. So Christopher from 1KX posted in the forum, and he chatted with me on Telegram just to kind of introduce it. So I wasn't sure if everyone was familiar with it. Nathan, I guess you have something you want to chat about. Ideas for this?
Yeah. I looked at the pitch deck they sent our way for sponsorships, and Sky had some ideas. Alan and I had some ideas. Basically, Chris mentioned that it's a bit still kind of like confidential. I'm not sure whether I should be mentioning it on the recording call, but there are 3 different tiers of sponsorship. The lowest tier allows us to get listed on their website. We'll have a
wait, Nathan, before we get that, can we just kind of let's take a step back and explain like what this? I think we could codeless conduct. You're right. So the idea is basically like obviously hackathons are good ways of engaging, building things for the community, and also finding people. But this one is trying to be one that is not meant for developers and is a no-code hackathon. I think they describe that as like, so what is a no-code hackathon, and how can you like what does that really do? I think it's a lot of content, right? You could think a lot of like educational videos, memes. I think other kind of articles or things of like onboarding different types of people could be in that. Even things maybe like June dashboards could be that. Some ideas I think we could chat about after what we could do, but something along like creating a video for ENS process, something about governance 2.0, a video for that. And I guess the people that are organizing it, as you said, Christopher from 1KX, put this in the forum. So they are, I guess, driving it, I would say, but it's hosted on Gitcoin, right? And Gitcoin has hosted tons and tons of hackathons before. And actually 1KX is an investor in Gitcoin in addition to being a DXD holder. And then they're doing it on something called Gather Town, which I guess is like kind of like a online
like
portal.
Atlantis World.
I would say metaverse, but I can't say that for everything these days. And then the other part, and then I also saw on this pitch deck is Justin Bram, who's I think he's with Ondo Finance, and I think John has been familiar with him in terms of like creating content and videos. So I think that kind of gives a good idea of what those like people would be. I think it is, the 1KX is kind of driving it, and we have a relationship with them for a long time. Christopher was involved in like Governance 2.0. It doesn't seem that this is like they're just kind of like getting this started and starting it out. So there's not a clear like precedent for previous hackathons that they've done like this. But the group that is organizing it has done other like hackathons, and then Gitcoin has really kind of like, I think, professionalized a lot of like the hackathon launch thing. And I think, as Nathan was saying, there are like they had 3 different listed like sponsorship packages. The lowest level was a $3,000 package, which gives you, branding, some tweets, social stuff, and then the right to distribute up to $3,000 worth of bounties. And then there's a $7,500 option, and then a $15,000 option. So this would be, I think it's February 23rd. So it's right after Denver there. So, and it would run, I think that's when it would kick off, and that's like a 2-week hackathon or whatever, and they have some events scheduled in the beginning and end there, and so we would have to be involved in somewhat there. So yeah, I guess the discussion is whether we want to move forward with it, and then what are kind of some ideas on what those hackathon ideas would be. I think this fits into some of the areas we're trying to develop in terms of hackathons and getting the DXDAO brand out there more. This is a little bit different audience, I think, than we've typically been targeting, because this is kind of like the no code hackathon idea is a little bit different than what we've been doing, especially with ETH Denver and kind of our approach there. But I think it maybe could be helpful for getting content about DXDAO created. And I think that's like a key thing that we need going forward, is like different types of content things. So if we came up with some ideas, bounties for things for people to create, I think it could be worthwhile, but curious to see other thoughts.
Yeah. I also shared a link with a Medium article they posted, which basically it allows you to build anything you'd like that doesn't require coding, but they've still outlined a few bullet points with the main categories that are expected for people to engage on. One is community building, like community research and strategies, design, like people proposing rebranding ideas for projects, designing swag, conducting UX analysis, governance as well as a category, creating protocol proposals, following up on governance forums and such. Data is another one, allowing people to build analytic dashboards for DAOs. This to in my personal view, requires some not really coding skills, but at least familiarity with explorers. So I'm not sure whether it would be taken up by many participants in the no code hackathon. Content creation is a big one. Creating pitch books, tutorials, narrative crafting, memes, as Chris said, investment thesis, research reports, improving and translating documentation, which is something I've noted we might be interested in. Another topic of interest is token engineering, as we've been chatting a lot lately in the past few weeks. We're open to entertain people coming up with interesting tokenomic redesigning strategies for, say, Swapper. We don't have to, basically it's a hackathon, so anyone could submit anything. We don't have to award them if we don't find it worth it. So I think it's still beneficial for us to incentivize and put a bounty on something like that and see what people come up with, because you never know if anyone might, come up with something genius. Another topic of interest would be communication and PR, letting people create communication and branding strategies. So I think even if we go for the lowest tier, that would allow us to create 3 bounties. It would put our name out there. We'll be on social media. We'll have a dedicated Discord channel, and we could do this with minimal expenditure. And I think we have a lot more to gain than we would give.
yeah, I think this is like a decent opportunity to, I guess, showcase DXDAO and some of the stuff that we've been up to. Yeah. I don't know if anyone else has any other comments.
So the best thing about it is that it's like the interesting part about it is that it's non-developer hackathon, which is unique in its own right. The list of bounties we would put on there would probably be a list of bounties that we would put on our bounty board too, which we need to do, and that includes non-dev stuff. So it's a kind of a forcing function, and it will be in front of all these people that are watching this Codeless hackathon. The one concern I had, I mean, maybe this is more for dev hackathons, but we tried a dev virtual hackathon and basically just got very little interest because it gets crowded, and maybe our products aren't attractive to dev hackers. Maybe they are, but it was a virtual one with ETH Global, lasted a month, and it was just hard to know about engagement and talk to people and get feedback. So now we're trying to do a very important dev hackathon at ETH Denver, which is in real life and also some virtual. But if no one's hacking on DXDAO products, we can go literally ask people at the hackathon, why aren't you hacking on DXDAO products? So we're going to try our in real life one. And if it's successful, we'll know. And if no one hacks on DXDAO products, then we're going to learn that as well. And so this is an interesting type of hackathon. Virtual is always a little trickier. But we could, as an experiment, we could do one of the tiers and at least try it. It kicks off right during the end of ETH Denver, basically. So it's probably a different crowd because it's not hackers, it's not dev hackers. So I guess it's not like people just hacked for a week and now they're not interested anymore. But I guess it's worth a try.
Are there any objections to sponsoring? Or
well, I was just gonna say, Keenan, I was curious if you have any thoughts, both because it's kind of a little bit of this community, and also maybe we would need some ideas from the content side, or do you think there would be some things we could work with here from DX Voice?
Yeah, definitely stuff to work with. I think I've already added as a discussion topic for tomorrow, so we can kind of dive a bit deeper. Not sure I have much to add beyond what was already said.
I like what Sky said about a forcing function. I think that's true.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, we're having that same thing for ETH Denver hackathon. We got to get our things in order so that hackers can discover what they can do or try to work on with documentation and our products and our code for our products. So for ETH Denver,
which is good for Denver and there, but also just good in general, right? It has added benefits that we're doing those things.
Same kind of forcing function. But it's kind of it sounds actually kind of like Initiative DAO, because that's Initiative DAO is kind of more for non-developers. One idea, like Nathan, for example, we already I think are trying to take the ENS article of why ENS is important. I mean, it could be as technical as or not technical, and turn that into a video. So stuff like that is already in progress, but more ideas like that that could come from the hacking community is also great. Yeah. One thing would be do you have to give specific bounties for exact things that you want, or could you just say, the best idea that brings awareness to DXDAO swapper, free reign, go ahead and come up with it.
I think video is a pretty interesting one. If we say video, that's as long as someone does that, they can have free reign, I would think. And they do it about swapper, something like DXDAO.
Swapper is our least videoed product as well.
Cool.
Camera shy.
Yeah, I generally lean towards, tutorials, narrative crafting, improving the documentation, tokenomic redesign, and also creating a branding strategy or communication strategy. We could easily ask people, like if we have 3 bounties, one bounty could be give us 2 tokenomic redesign ideas for Swapper, and each contestant will have to come up with at least 2 ideas to redesign the Swapper tokenomics. Then if we create a second bounty for a branding strategy, we could come up with 2 branding strategies for DXDAO, and then each contestant will do that. And then we could have narrative building or do that for Carrot, Swapper. It would be very beneficial if we have like 5 people come up with 2 different strategies each, and we have to award just one of them. I think we're getting a lot more than what we'll be giving, and we have all the media exposure. It's a win any way we look at it.
Yeah. So I guess we can continue this discussion in the DXvoice chat tomorrow. And yeah, the overall sentiment is that yay, right? I think this is great. Just so you know, I'm foaming very hard that I can't be a defender, but yeah.
Elon, they have childcare.
Yeah, I saw the childcare, but dude, I can't fly with I can't do a 15-hour flight with a month-old baby.
I heard 1-month-old babies are easy to travel with.
2-month-old are like maybe, yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, the travel part is the whole thing, right? It's like not when you're there. That's the easy part. It's like that one day of or 2, day and a half. It's just.
Elon, you're telling me you don't want to be able to say in like 20 years that your baby attended ETH Denver at 1 month old?
I will.
Just send her a poem.
I will join next year. By the way, John is getting me baby swag, so apparently there's like baby swag this year. Geniuses. Anyway, let's move on to the next topic. I guess it's just ETH Denver. Yeah, we started sharing the DXDAO event invite and started inviting people. And I think there's a doc shared. Maybe we can link it here. Oh yeah, I have it. I can link it here.
Yeah. So that invite, we've been just hand inviting. So we chose not to use a public Eventbrite because those things like fill up with everyone in the world. We've chosen to do a more curated invite. We can invite 200 people. So anyone that you think has a connection to DXDAO or that or that you would be a good person in the space, that even if they don't know that much about DXDAO, like we're inviting Amin and Joe DeLong and people like anyone that you think would be awesome to talk to about DXDAO at a happy hour that feels more of a private invite style. And we're hand curating who we're sending this to. Just put their name on the spreadsheet so that it's aware that they've been sent the invite. Now they're not going to have something in their calendar. Ask them to maybe put it in their calendar to themselves or something like that. And then we can ping them. Most people we're like talking to on Discord and Telegram and things like that. So we're not using email anyway. We're not collecting any information. But if they say, "Oh, interested in coming," say put on your calendar and put a mark that they're interested on the spreadsheet. And then in person, we can also invite people as we're there or pull people in. But it should be pretty laid back and interesting, but will probably be mostly full. I mean, I'm sure other people will randomly show up as well, and it's kind of like an open couple hours, and there's some events. It's a pretty good timing because 5 to 7 on Wednesday, there's really like not that much going on compared to every other hour of the thing. There is some stuff immediately following it at like the breweries, and there's a Shapeshift event that night. So hopefully we can catch people in between whatever they're doing that day and before they do stuff for the night. And it's right by Sports Castle where most of the venues and things are. I don't know what's really scheduled for the Wednesday, to be honest. Is Wednesday the Dow Denver thing? Is that Tuesday and Wednesday? Does someone know?
Yes. Yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday.
I guess it's after.
So presumably after that. So it's like after that, it's almost like the pre, and then ETH or get coins on Thursday. Is that right?
Yeah, I guess might be a Dow Denver after event. I don't know what time that's at, but
yeah, but they're not. I'm not worried about competing with them.
This
is going to be a sweet party. Like, I love the invite. I love like kind of sending it to people as, we're having this. I think people will be around, so it's cool.
Yeah, and then just a couple more things around Denver, mainly for people that are attending. Yeah, so Keenan, I just sent you a note. We need to get we're going to publish a Medium article about it. It'll be promoted by them as well. There's some like co-marketing that we could keep over the next week or so. We could keep mentioning, things that we're going to be at ETH Denver. We can't release any information about the actual bounties until the 11th when that becomes public. But we secured our table. Our table is next to a couple big like premium sponsors, Reef, which I wasn't aware of, ETH Finance or Reef blockchain. Vanky is. It's like a whole nother blockchain. They're a big sponsor of ETH Denver. We're right next to them, so I guess we should. This is back. It seems like it's back to the day of like people creating. I don't know. It seems more like a Phantom or something. Like it's just another cheap, fast blockchain to like attract DeFi, basically. So related to the conversation that Geronimo's been discussing about, where eventually like everyone has their own blockchain. Maybe we have a DXDAO blockchain at one point.
DXJ.
Wherever that exists, right? And then we have a whole bunch of merch. There's like talk of 10,000 to 15,000 people coming into Denver for this thing. The hackathon where our booth is more curated. Like it's mainly going to be the hackers and the close DAO community, I believe, like a couple thousand people probably. I don't know if you need a special wristband or lanyard to access the actual sports castle, because you can't have 15,000 people showing up to it. So I don't know what the plan is. There's a whole bunch of venues they're calling it the campus. But we have merch. We have sweatshirt and beanies merch. We'll get some treats. And so we have a schedule for everyone that should fill out to like be manning the booth, like 2 people at a time for the 3 main days of ETH Denver. And then I guess it would be cool to just come up with a couple different things. Like when people come to the table, if they're like, oh, can I have one of those sweatshirts or can I have a beanie? There's asking them to do something, whether it's tweet about DXDAO, learn about DXDAO, use a DXDAO product, or do something is usually like a fun way to get them to, get DXDAO in their mind or check out the bounty board or something like that, rather than just like randomly hand out merch. Like ask them for something, ask them to take an action before you give them a beanie or something like that. So any ideas you have around that, you can add to the spreadsheet, which has the schedule on it for the booth. But other than that, still need. We have 3 tickets, which are like Spork Whale tickets, which are like kind of VIP tickets. There's a few different networking events, and then there's a VIP room. We asked for some feedback in the DX Denver chat. I think it mainly, so I already have my own ticket for buying some expensive t-shirt. But really this would mainly be like kind of DXbiz opportunities. So we'd be talking with, senior people at like most of the big projects. So anyone that, really wants to do like DXbiz work, / marketing DXDAO work to those kind of that profile of person, I think that would be like the ideal people to take those, spend a lot of time like just shilling DXDAO and the unique things that we do as a DAO to the other big people in the space. So if you want to do that role on behalf of kind of representing DXDAO like business wise, and chirp to lots of people, probably that would make sense to have one of those tickets. But we still need to figure out. They didn't ask for the names yet, but we need to just give them maybe the names like in the week leading up to ETH Denver. So, and there is a possibility to buy more of those if we wanted to, I think, but maybe not. It's probably not worth it. Having 4 people shilling DXDAO is probably enough.
Yeah, schmoozer. Who do we have so far?
We didn't decide. We were just floating around ideas, but we hadn't picked any people just yet. So let's talk about it in the DX Denver chat, and if you want to assume that role, that would be ideal.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who's been around the block for a while and knows people already, like, kind of has the reputation, they know him, her, and also someone who is also familiar with the technicalities of how our products can be integrated into other products or vice versa. So, I mean, most of the core contributors within DXDAO are well versed in what we're doing, but the people that pop up in my mind right away are John, Sky, Chris. So yeah.
Are these like transferable?
I don't think. I mean, there's a chance it's literally just a wristband, and so
that's what I'm thinking. If it's like a wristband, we can kind of just like.
I think you're supposed to give them the names ahead of time, but let's plan. Yeah, let's plan with 3 people to get these things, and then if potentially, we could trade them off if it's just a wristband for sure.
I mean, if it has a name to it, like, would they ask you for ID? That would be weird.
No, of course they won't. Like, at best, it's going to be like one of these sort of like necklaces with a tag. That's kind of like these. You could just switch it around, but they might give you one of these sort of like festival bracelets that you can't really take off. So that might be a problem. Like, and you won't be able to switch it. But yeah.
Does it explode?
No, because if you tear it down, like it's difficult. Yeah, it has like a. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, like those tamper-proof stickers on laptops. If you remove it, it basically disintegrates. You cannot stick it back to something.
But as we know, like DXDAO is a big supporter of ETH Denver. We will, follow all the standard practices and be a great sponsor on this recorded call.
DXDAO is not planning to get more people into the VIP room than it should. Yeah, no, I mean, I like schmoozing too, but I'm also going to be a mentor, so happy to not do the VIP thing. But I think there are like a handful of people that are going to be there that would make sense. So I guess we'll have to decide somehow.
Yeah. Do you want to?
So the other interesting thing is that like there's a lot more sponsors this year. So like the whole 2nd and 3rd floor are like sponsor booths, and then there's like a 70-seat section for like presentations. I am not exactly sure where all of the hackers are going to be sitting on tables and things. Like there's a couple other areas, but if this is the biggest hackathon ever, there's a chance that there's like a whole nother hacker building that's not a castle, is my guess. And I'm not
on
sure.
that Sky. So I was digging into the judging details and stuff because I'm working on the video. And I was going to post this in the Denver chat, but it does mention that the judging is going to actually happen in, I think, like 3 or 4 different locations, which sort of implies to me that the hacking itself may also be, but I guess we don't know for sure.
That's very interesting because that's very different, and actually makes it a little bit more difficult. So, any mentors and any of our devs or any of our representatives that want to like talk to hackers, push hackers towards our products and stuff, we're going to have to make an effort to leave potentially Sports Castle and go to the actual hacker centers, which could be different buildings in the neighborhood. So that's if you learn more about that, or we'll obviously see it once we're there. But if that's the case, we'll have to really make an effort to do that, which is quite a bit different than the other years.
God damn it. FOMOing so hard.
We'll send you pictures.
Yeah.
So you can FOMO even harder with the pictures.
Yeah, I might stay up all night to just like, even watch the things. Maybe, look at there's like videos from around the area, I think. So I'll spot you guys and screenshot it. I'll send it in the chat.
Yeah, there's also there's an actual virtual building where Denver Virtual is taking place, and we have a booth in it. I think you can hang out there and talk to people.
Yeah, assign me to the booth.
Yeah. If you can, if you guys can just stay at the booth in the metaverse, that'd be great.
Yeah, happy to do that actually. Yeah. Do we have any updates about the DX Ventures opportunities, Kai? We have the karma discussion.
Yeah, the karma is the most immediate. John posted to the forum the latest. It's an interesting project. Chen is interested as well. I don't know if he's on behalf of himself or on Gnosis, which would be really cool. Like, this is something that, like,
it's behalf of CowSwap. Yeah.
What's that?
It's on behalf of CowSwap.
On behalf of CowSwap. I mean,
yeah,
CowSwap would want to invest in this type of.
Oh, not invest, but use it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, how something like Karma would use is an interesting thing. You have like some kind of base profile creation and representatives. You mean for like figuring out delegates and stuff for CowSwap, maybe?
Not for delegates, but just so I've been talking to Hen a lot about, he also understands that, full token voting doesn't really make sense. And I've pitched that several times. And, on the other hand, like maybe DXGov or, the system that we're using, they could use it in the future, but, they want to optimize for like maximum usability. So they are looking at reputation, they are looking at quantifying contribution, and this is a way that it could be done. And then, figuring out how to give that voting power is something that we could, look into later. And then hopefully also, figure out, like, I want to get CowSwap to use the DXvote once it's, a bit more ready. But yeah, there are blockers.
Totally. Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, but from a DX Ventures perspective, there is an opportunity to support that protocol, as with proposed $100,000 kind of investment grant. There are some terms around it. It's kind of, it's not being fully publicly shared, but if you are interested in DX Ventures as a DXDAO community member, you can reach out and become part of the kind of the smaller group, and you can see the numbers and that kind of thing. Getting approval from Karma to share with different people, but yeah, there's also a little bit of technicality discussing like how a project in the US legal world as a US entity could potentially take investment from a decentralized collective DAO, and we've obviously done that in the past, but it could be different for different projects and companies and protocols. So just making sure everything is aligned there. There's some ongoing discussion, but in general, yeah, it's a lot of interest in this specific type of answer, basically. And there's definitely a few different projects and protocols working on this type of thing. So I don't think it means that supporting one, which is very interesting, and we know the team and they're good developers. you're gonna, if other things come out too, we could potentially, there could be integrations between the different ones. I think in some cases, anyone that's analyzing DAO data, you will probably start to see other parties use data from each other. For example, Masari does a lot of data on like DeFi projects. I'm sure that they'll probably want to link into like Karma or Diamond DAO or some other projects that are like doing analysis of DAO data. And so I think you'll start to see like, yeah, as long as it's like on-chain public data and you can access it, I think you'll start to see this data float around across the ecosystem, which is pretty cool. So, but everyone is pretty confident that this is an important like building block within the DAO and governance space. So yeah, could contribute to the forum post, and then eventually I think there would, if it moves forward, there would be an on-chain proposal to give a investment grant. Oh, we got another call. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we can end here. Yeah. Thank you all.
Recording has stopped.
Thanks,
And-
Nella and Sky.
Yeah.
Thanks,
See you
folks.
the rest of the week.
Those guys.
Au revoir.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.